Everyone knows about R plus L equals J, and in Season 6, spoiler alert, it was finally confirmed. Jon Snow is not Ned Stark's bastard, but is instead the son of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen. This makes him half Targaryen, obviously, and possibly the only other one in the world besides Daenerys. But what if there is another? No, not the probable pretender from the books, but one of the biggest characters on the show. What if, like R plus L equals J, A plus J equals T? Like the Jon Snow theory, there is belief that Tyrion Lannister himself is a Targaryen, the son of the Mad King Aerys. As you would expect, there is supporting evidence from the books that lends itself to this theory. So, I'm Ben from Whatculture, and here's a look at what's known and what's speculated about the true identity of everyone's favourite dwarf. His relationship with Tywin. Tyrion's relationship with his father at times makes what Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader shared look relatively pleasant. Tywin, in both books and shows, loathes his son for being a dwarf, for his whoring and drunken ways, and because his wife died giving birth to him. There are a couple of key quotes from Tywin to be referred to, such as when he says, "Since I cannot prove you aren't mine." This could be taken as that he knows Tyrion isn't his son, but there's nothing to back up such a claim. Furthermore, his last words to him are actually, "You are no son of mine." He may be speaking figuratively, or maybe he's using his final moments to finally unburden himself from the truth. Tywin also constantly refuses to acknowledge Tyrion as an heir to Casterly Rock, stating that he will never rule there despite the fact that neither Jaime or Cersei would be able to. If Tywin isn't Tyrion's father, then who is? Well, at the time of Tyrion's conception, Tywin would have been Hand of the King. The Mad King. Tywin was hand to King Aerys Targaryen, otherwise known as the Mad King. There are a couple of confirmed points regarding Aerys' interactions with Tywin's wife, Joanna, that suggest he had some sort of relationship with her. Barristan Selmy tells Daenerys that the king was said to be infatuated with her, and also that he took certain liberties at the bedding of her and Tywin. While it's not revealed what those liberties were, it wouldn't be beyond the realms of Westeros for Aerys to have sex with Joanna by consent or otherwise. After all, Aerys was king, and they could generally do as they pleased. If Tywin knew or suspected this, then they would give him further motive to betray Aerys and help Robert Baratheon claim the throne instead, especially as he went so far as to have Prince Rhaegar's infant children murdered as well. Why would Tywin raise Tyrion? If Tywin did indeed know that Tyrion was a bastard of Aerys as opposed to being his true-born son, then why wouldn't he have him killed, or at least shipped him off to some far-flung corner of the continent? Above all else, he is a man obsessed with the honor and status of his house. While it may damage his inner pride to raise a child that isn't his, one who is a dwarf no less, to simply cast him aside would surely raise more questions, and to admit that his wife was raped or had an affair and had a son because of it would perhaps, in Tywin's eyes, be more damaging to his reputation. There's also the fact that he dearly loved Joanna. We hear talk of how he was a different person when she was alive and that he even smiled at their wedding, and Lord Tywin never smiled. Whether Tyrion is his son or not, he is definitely Joanna's, and he may have raised him because of that. Tyrion's appearance. Tyrion's appearance in the books is noticeably different to what we see in the TV show, and that extends beyond the fact that he loses his nose in the Battle of Blackwater. Perhaps the key description of any Lannister is their blonde hair, said to be the color of gold. This applies to Jaime and Cersei and their illegitimate children, but not to Tyrion. Instead, Tyrion's hair is described as being pale blonde, so light it is almost white. That's much more along the lines of a Targaryen, whose hair is usually described as silver blonde. Tyrion also has mismatched eyes, one green and one black. This irregularity is said to signify mixed blood, which he would not have if his father were Tywin, as Joanna was his cousin, but obviously would have if Aerys fathered him. Also, the imp is known to have quite a bookish nature. This sets him apart from his Lannister siblings, but does, however, tie in with a description of Rhaegar, who would be his brother if the theory is true. Plus, Tyrion has had a long-held fascination with dragons and claimed to have dragon dreams when he was younger, which would fit with him being a Targ, a family intrinsically linked with the creatures. The dragon has 3 heads. This is the prophecy that Daenerys hears in the House of Undying, and a major catalyst for both this theory and R plus L equals J, with Tyrion, Dany, and Jon being the 3 heads of the dragon. We know Daenerys has 3 dragons, so it would fit that there would need to be 3 people able to ride them. Each one of them killed their mother during childbirth. We know for certain that Lyanna died giving birth to Jon, while Joanna and Rhaela died while birthing Tyrion and Daenerys, respectively. They've all had to kill someone they loved. Jon killed Ygritte, or at least feels responsible for her death. Tyrion killed Shae, and Daenerys euthanized Khal Drogo. What a happy bunch. It fits in with the prophecy, which would lead to them riding the dragons to save the 7 kingdoms, and gives further explanation as to why the 3 characters have been established as the leads in both the books and the show. His relationship with Daenerys and her dragons. After the meeting of Daenerys and Tyrion in Season 5, and her naming him Hand of the Queen in Season 6, the pair are closer than ever, and means that he'll be supporting her claim to the Iron Throne and very much working with her dragons. During Season 6, we actually saw Tyrion interact with 2 of Daenerys' children, Rhaegal and Viserion. He told them a lovely story about how he always wanted a dragon, even just a small one, and then freed them from their chains. Given they didn't burn him to a crisp and then devour him, it only adds further fuel to the fire that he could have some Targaryen blood running through his veins. What it would ultimately mean. If Tyrion does turn out to be a Targaryen, then, as with Jon Snow, it would have some big implications for everything we know about the series, the Iron Throne, and the future of Westeros. Being a bastard and a dwarf, Tyrion wouldn't have a strong claim to the throne, but it would strengthen his ties to Dany and his support of her being queen. Then there's his role as one of the 3 heads of the dragons, as this would mean he would have a major part to play in whatever that leads to, which is likely to be the battle between ice and fire. And a potential teaming up of the 3 biggest characters would obviously be massive for the books and show alike, and cement Tyrion's status as a hero. The case against. There's lots that can be pieced together to say Tyrion is a Targaryen, but the facts as presented are that he's a Lannister, and there is evidence to support that as well. As Jenna Lannister tells Jaime in A Feast for Crows, Tyrion is Tywin's son, not you. This implies that Tyrion is actually a lot like his father, which is evident in his political cunning and ability to play the game, something not as present in Jaime. Similarly, while Tywin hated Tyrion for his whoring, we later see Shae in his bed, meaning he shared his son's vices. It also opens up the whole other can of worms, which isn't as explicitly referenced or theorized, of Jaime and Cersei being the children of Aerys, and the irony of Tyrion being Tywin's only true child and heir. Whatever route the books and show go down with Tyrion's parentage, it'll have big implications for the series. If he isn't Aerys' son, then there still needs to be another head of the dragon. If he is, then we can expect to one day see him riding a dragon to Westeros. But what do you think? Is Tyrion really a Targaryen? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can even follow me here on Twitter if you fancy. I'm Ben from Whatculture, and thanks for watching.